Good morning, dear students, and good morning to the teachers also. It's 12:30, so good afternoon, everyone. I'm Prabha Nahak, Assistant Teacher of Government High School, Tampakela. Welcome you all to this virtual studio, Sundargarh. So, dear children, as you know that today we are going to deal with the fourth part of the story, the lost child. And before this, we have already completed three parts of the story, and there we came to know how the child lost in the hair. And after this, what will happen with the child, we will know in this fourth part of the story. So it's already late, so without any further ado, let's get started. Okay? Okay, so dear children, you can see the slide. We are dealing with the fourth part of the story, The Lost Child, which is written by Mulk Raj Anand. And before knowing what is in the fourth part, let's see what was in the third part of the story. Okay, so let's recapitulate the third part. First, we can see that the child came to a roundabout. At last the child came to a roundabout, and there he saw the roundabout and get attracted and made a bold request to his parents to go on the roundabout. Then the child, when he made a request and didn't get any answer, any reply, he turned back and look all the direction to find his parents, and he was not able to find the parents, so he cried bitterly. The child cried bitterly when he didn't find his parents. Then after the child, in search of his parents, the child ran hither and thither, here and there, to find his parents. Then what he did, meanwhile his yellow turban became untied and his clothes became muddy, right? Thereafter he focused on a temple which was very thick, and by seeing the temple he thought that maybe his parents were there. So he ran towards the thickest crowd or towards the entrance of the temple, and when he ran there, he tried to find a way through the crowd, but he was failed and knocked down and cried bitterly and very loudly. After that, a man heard his crowd and rescued him or helped him and lifted him up. So this is in the third part of the story. Now we will know what is in the fourth part of the story. Okay, so in fourth part, first of all we will read the text, then we will know the meaning of some difficult words, then thereafter we will discuss the text. Okay, so what is the text? Let's read. I am going to read the text aloud, and open your book, page number 114. Look at your book very carefully. Okay, so the text started. How did you get here, child? Whose baby are you? The man asked worriedly. The child wept more bitterly than ever now and only cried, I want my mother, I want my father. The man tried to soothe him by taking him to the roundabout. Will you have a ride on the horse? He gently asked as he approached the ring. The child did not look at it, but he only shouted, I want my mother, I want my father. The man headed towards the place where the snake charmer still played on the flute to the swaying cobra. Listen to that nice music, child, he pleaded. But the child shut his ears with his fingers and shouted his double-pitched strain, I want my mother, I want my father. The man took him near the balloons, thinking that bright colors of the balloons would distract the child's attention and quieten him. Would you like a rainbow-colored balloon? He very lovingly asked. The child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and just sobbed, I want my mother, I want my father. The man, still trying to make the child happy, bore him to the gate where the flower seller sat. Look, can you smell those nice flowers, child? Would you like a garland to put round put round your neck. The child turned his nose away from the basket and repeated his sob, I want my mother, I want my father. Thinking he could change the child's mind and make him happy by a gift of sweets, the man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. What sweets would you like, child? He asked. The child turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed, I want my mother, I want my father. So, dear children, this is the text, and now we will know some difficult word meanings. Okay? So, first one is worriedly. Worriedly means become worry. दुश्चिंता कौन जिनस को लेकिन चिंता करवा दुश्चिंता आसवा मनरे, that is worriedly. Worried. Bitterly means feel extremely sad. दयनीय भाव दुखित हवा अति दुखित होइबा, that is bitterly. Then soothe means to make somebody feel better. शांत करवा कहा को खुशी करेबा शांत करेबा, that is soothe, make happy. Then come gently in a kind and quiet way. धीर बा कोमल भाव कहवा, quiet way. Then approach means to come near, निकट को आसीबा पाख को आसीबा, approached. Then headed means to move in a particular direction, निर्दिष्ट दिग को जीवा कौन सी गोटे दिग को पर्टिकुलर दिग को फॉरवर्ड हेबा आगो को बढ़िबा, that is headed. अर्थ मीनिंग what of the meaning लेखुछ कि नहीं लेखिबा, okay, so that you will be able to understand the text. If you know the meaning, if you recall the meanings, then you will be able to understand the text. So write down the meanings of the word. Then swaying means to move slowly from side to side. Do holiba side to side धीरे holiba, that is swaying. Then pleaded means to ask for something in a strong way. निवेदन करवा, we can say also request. कहा को निवेदन करवा अनुरोध करवा, that is also called pleaded. Then swaying cobra. Look at the video how the cobra is swaying. हलुची धीरे दो हलुची, okay. Then rainbow, a curved band of different colors that appears in the sky when the sun shines through rain. वर्षा होउथिबो किंबा वर्षा जस्ट छाड़िबो छाड़ी नथिबो किंतु होउथिबा समय रे जेतेबेले sunshine सूर्य लोक देखा जाए and it reflects different color, the 7 colors. You can see the rainbow. This is called rainbow. Then pitch means to produce a sound at a particular level. स्वरर उच्चता बा निम्नतार मात्रा बहुत जोरे किंबा बहुत धीरे गोटे पर्टिकुलर लेवल मेंटेन करबा, that is pitched. Double pitch दुई गुण जदि जने पार्टी करूची तातो दुई गुण रे पार्टी करबा, that is double pitched. Then strain to make an effort to do something using all your mental or physical strength. टाणी हेबा जोरे फिजिकल जदि हम कोनसी काम करूचे टोटल मेंटल स्ट्रेंथ लगे देबा, अदरवाइज टोटल फिजिकल स्ट्रेंथ लगे देबा, that is called strain. ओडिया रे हमें एई कंटेंट रे ताको जाको हमें कहि परिबा टाणी हेबा. Distract means to take somebody's attention away from something. अन्य मनस्क करिबा, डिस्टर्ब करिबा, और distract means अन्य मनस्क करिबा. Then quieten to make someone silent or quiet. काहा को चुप कराइबा, that is quieten. Okay, so these are some words, difficult words, and we came to know the meanings of the words. Now let's understand the text. What is the text? So, how did you get here, child? Whose baby are you? The man asked worriedly. So after lifting the child from the thickest crowd, the man asked the child that, how did you get here? And whose baby you are? Who is your parents? He wanted to know about his parents. So he asked worriedly. The child wept more bitterly than ever now and only cried, I want my mother, I want my father. And in the answer, okay, the man asked, whose child you are? But the child answered, what he answered? I want my mother, I want my father. he cried more bitterly, ଆଉ ଜୋର ଜୋରରେ କାନ୍ଦିଛି, and he didn't give any information about his parents, just he sobbed and cried and said that I want my mother, I want my father. Then the men tried to shoot him by taking him to the roundabout. Will you have a ride on the horse? He gently asked as he approached the ring. So after that, when the man saw that the child was not giving any answer, he just shoving and saying, I want my mother, I want my father. Then the man, the gentleman, or we can say the kind man, take the child to the roundabout. He thought that perhaps if I took the child to the roundabout, then maybe the child get distracted and maybe happy. So by thinking that, the man took him to the roundabout, and when he came to the roundabout and see this horse, okay, he asked the lost child that, would you like would you like to have a ride on the horse on the roundabout? तमें एक घोड़ाटा जो अच्छे से सुंदर attractive घोड़ारे बसिबो, okay, से ताको पचारछनी, why? Just to distract his mind, just to soothe him, ताको बुझेबा पई, ताको चुप करेबा पई. Okay, so let's see what will be the answer of the child. I think definitely the child will say yes, I will go, right? And ताको किछि टाइम पूर्वरु दरकार थिला, टाइम राउंड टेबल रे बसिबा ताको पसंद थिला, that's why he made a bold request to his parents. So let's see what is the answer of the child. Okay, the child did not look at it, but he only sobbed, I want my mother, I want my father. But now the child said that he just crying, he just sobbing and saying that I want my mother, I want my father. Sometimes before, the child want to go on the roundabout, but now when the man offered him, he was not interested to sit on the roundabout. He just saying that I want my mother, I want my father. Then let's see what happened next. The man headed towards the place where the snake charmer still played on the flute to the swaying cobra. Then the man thought, okay, if the child is not consoled here, let me take to the another place. So by think that he take the child to where? To the snake charmer. जो snake charmer पाखरे की पिलाटी ठिया है कि गीत सुनबा पई चाहूथला. So the man took him to the snake charmer, and still the snake charmer played the music. Then what happened? Listen to that nice music, child, he pleaded. So he pleaded, he said to the child that what? Listen to this nice music. Listen, the music which was very very smooth and very nice, played by the snake charmer. So listen this music, he said to the little child. But the child shot his ears with his fingers and shouted his double piston, I want my mother, I want my father. But here also the child didn't show any interest towards the snake, towards the music of the flute, or towards the snake charmer, and he only shouted, cried, and what he said, I want my father, I want my mother. Then the man took him near the balloons, thinking that bright colors of the balloons would distract the child's attention and quieten him. Then the man thought that, okay, no problem, let me take the child to another place. As we know that the beautiful balloons, vibrant balloons attract child's mind. So by thinking that may the balloons distract the child's mind, so the man, the kind man who saved the boy, he took him to the where? To the balloon seller. Okay, to the balloons. Balloon बिचारी पाख को लोक जो man थिले जे लोक थिले जे कि छुआटी को सेव करथिले से ताको balloon seller पाख को नहीं गले. And he asked, would you like a rainbow colored balloon? And showing him such beautiful balloons, he offered the child a rainbow colored balloon, different color, vibrant balloon. Okay, जोटा कि बहुत colorful. तो तुमको यही प्रकार गोटे balloon दरकार कि why don't you purchase it? Why don't you have it? छुआटी को offer करिसंती. Then the child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and just served, I want my mother, I want my father. But here also the child didn't show any interest towards the beautiful balloons. Although the child want to purchase all the balloons when he entered the fair, when he was with his parents, he wanted all the balloons. But now when the man offered him the balloons or the rainbow color balloons, now the child didn't give any interest towards the balloons. And he just sobbed. What he sobbed? I want my mother, I want my father. I only my mother and father. Mate khali mo bappa ma darkar. I don't want anything. Then what happened? The man, still trying to make the child happy, bore him to the gate where the flower seller sat. Now the man thought that, okay, let me take to him to the flower seller. The flowers are really very beautiful, the garlands are very beautiful, and the smells of the flowers are very nice. So maybe the child gets distracted by seeing this. So by thinking this, the man took him to the flower seller. Se flower seller pakhku neiki asichanti chuati. Then look, can you smell those nice flowers, sir? Taku pacharichanti chuati ku. So can you smell these nice flowers? The flowers are smelling very nice. Can you smell it? Would you like a garland to put round your neck? And would you like a garland? The child wanted a gulmohar flower, garland of gulmohar. But when the man took him to the same flower seller and offered him a garland. And let's see what is the answer of the child, whether the child wanted to take a garland or not. The child turned his nose away from the basket and repeated his sob, I want my mother, I want my father. But here also what the child did, he turned his nose, मुह को से माने से बासना को सुंघिबा पे इच्छा करी नाही, and he repeated his sob. He is sobbing, and what he is sobbing? By saying that I want my mother, I want my father, I only want my mother and father. Then what the man did? Thinking he could change the child's mind and make him happy by a gift of sweets, the man took him to the counter of the sweet shop. Then the man thought that perhaps the sweet maybe distract the child's mind, as small children like sweets, they want to eat sweets. So the man thought that maybe the child gets distracted by getting sweets. Let us say मिठा जदि पाइजिवो, मिठा किसी खाइवो, लेट्स से हुए तो डिस्ट्रैक्टेड हे जिवो और चुप होबो, ताको से चुप करबा पे बहुत चेष्टा करछंती. सो ही टेक द चाइल्ड टू द स्वीट शॉप, काउंटर ऑफ स्वीट शॉप को छुआटी को नहीं जाइछंती, एंड ही आस्क्ड व्हाट स्वीट्स वुड यू लाइक चाइल्ड, व्हाट स्वीट्स वुड यू लाइक. एते सब जो वैराइटीज ऑफ स्वीट्स अछि, एते सब स्वीट्स भितरु व्हिच स्वीट्स वुड यू लाइक, को मिठा तते दरकार, ओके, को मिठा तमे खाइबा पई चाहूछ. व्हाट वाज द फेवरेट स्वीट ऑफ द चाइल्ड? Yes, that is barfi, right? Barfi was the favorite sweet of the child. So when the man took the child to the sweet shop and asked what sweets would you want to eat, so what should be the answer of the child? That must be barfi, right? So barfi खाइबा पई कहिथिबो, कोन खाइबा पई कहिथि? Let's see. The child turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed, I want my mother, I want my father. But here also the child didn't show any interest towards the sweets, as he gets separated from his parents, and so he didn't want anything. He just want only his father and mother. The kind man tried to soothe him very in different way, try to make him happy, try to console the child, but the child didn't get consoled. So dear children, that is in the fourth part of the story. So let's see what is the summary of the fourth part. What is the summary? The man who shaved the child in the crowd wanted to know about his parents and how he came to the fair ground. The man tried his best to make the child, make the child happy. He took him to the roundabout flower seller and the sweetmeat seller to divert his attention. But the child had lost his interest in those things he had wanted earlier. He only shopped and wanted to see his parents. Okay. So in 4 parts, we know that the man, we can say that the man is a very generous, kind and loving person, right? Why? Because in the thickest crowd, he is the only one he came forward to help the child. से केवल मात्र जणे व्यक्ति थिले जे कि child को help करिया पई आगो को आसीथिले, and he tried to make the child happy, and he tried to soothe the child. For that he went many places in the fair and offered many things to the child. But the child didn't show any interest. କିନ୍ତୁ ଛୁଆଟି କୌଣସି ଆଗ୍ରହ ଦେଖେଇନଥିଲା କୌଣସି ଜିନିଷ ପ୍ରତି, although he want the same things before some time. When his parents are with him, at that moment the child want to purchase all the things, want to have all the things. But when his parents are not with him, what he didn't want anything. See, what he want? He just want his parents only. Each and every time he sobbed and crying and saying that I want my mother, I want my father. So this is the summary of part 4. So dear children, we have already completed, before this class we have already completed 3 classes and it is a long time. बहुत समय हो गलानी and हुए तो तुम मैंने ताको भूली जाइथिबो. So let's summarize the whole chapter. Let's see a video through which we can recall the whole chapter. Okay, so this is the video. Okay, I want to take the help of technician. Vivek, please take it. Okay, Garibi. Or what happened?
Let us discuss the summary of The Lost Child by Mulkraj Anand. Let us discuss the summary of The Lost Child by Mulkraj Anand. The story describes a young boy's innocence and is born with his parents. It's a bright spring day. There is a fair going on and everyone in and around. Let us discuss the summary of The Lost Child by Mulkraj Anand. The story describes a young boy's innocence and is born with his parents. It's a bright spring day. There is a fair going on and everyone in and around the village is traveling to partake of the delights of the fair. Among them is a young boy. He skips and runs happily alongside his parents as they walk to the fair. There are many people traveling along with him. Some of them are moving in bullock carts or horses while most of them are walking to the fair. The boy's excitement grows as he sees all the people around them. On his way, he sees a toy shop. He loudly proclaims that he wants a toy. His father looks at him sternly. To divert the child's attention, his mother draws his attention towards the mustard fields. There is a vast field of golden yellow mustard fields and its color excites the boy. The field is also filled with butterflies. The boy is fascinated by the butterflies. As they fly close to him, he tries to catch some of them, but they elude him. His parents call out to him to join them. They have taken shelter in a shaded grove. As soon as the boy enters the grove, a shower of flowers greets him, and he holds out his hand to catch the petals. The boy looks around in wonder, taking in all the sights and sounds of nature. From the grove, they travel along a narrow path to the fair. From the serene world of nature, the boy enters the world of the fair. Its cacophony, sights and smells fascinate and repel him at the same time. The boy stops in front of a sweet shop, tempted by the delightful display of sweets. He wants a burfi, though he knows his parents will not buy it for him. As they walk on, he is attracted by the beautiful garlands of gulmohar in the next shop. Though he wants one around his neck, he knows his parents will call it cheap and refuse him. Brightly colored balloons on a pole greet him next. He stops and gazes at the bright balloons floating in the air. He knows his parents will tell him he is too old to play with them. So he moves on to where a snake charmer is playing his flute. He wants to hear the music, but he knows his parents will forbid it. Finally, he reaches the giant wheel. His eyes shine at the giant wheel, keeping on turning with his brightly colored lights and people laughing and shouting. He cannot contain himself any longer and clamors to get on it. But his parents do not reply. He turns around, but his parents are not with him any longer. Frightened, he starts howling. He runs here and there, trying to find his parents. There are tears in his eyes, and his clothes become dirty. He notices a temple around which many people are gathered. He hopes he can find his parents there, but there are too many people, and he cannot see them. A kind stranger rescues him from the stampede of people. The stranger asks the boy who his parents are, but the boy cannot tell him. He only repeats that he wants his mother and father. The stranger then takes him to the roundabout and asks whether he wants a ride, but the child doesn't want on. The stranger then takes him to Snake Charmer, asking him if he wants to hear the music. But the child closes his ears, crying for his parents. He shakes his head at the pretty balloons. He refuses to put a garland around his neck. Finally, the stranger takes him to the sweet shop, but the child cannot be consoled by the sweets. He continues to cry for his parents.
Okay, so with this video we'll know the total story, okay, the summary of the story. Now let's see some main points of the story. Main points are very important for each and every chapter, not only for this chapter only, for prose, poetry, and in every subject main points are very important. Main points sometimes बहुत महत्व रखित है, because why? With the main points we are able to recall the whole story or whole chapter. तो सब बेले छुआ मैंने मन रखिबो जे जेंति भी तुमे जे कोनोसी चैप्टर रो मेन पॉइंट सब को पॉइंट आउट करबो आ ताको मन रखिबो जदारा कि तुमे गोटे चैप्टर रो पूरा कोन अछि चैप्टर भितर से विषय रे जानि परिबो. So let's see what are the main points of this story. First, the child is being taken to the fair by his parents. Then there are many attractive things in the fair for the child, like toys, eatables, flowers, balloons, roundabout, etc. The child asks his parents for these things. Then parents have no desire to purchase these things for the child. Then suddenly the child gets separated from his parents. The child starts crying and asking for his parents. A kind person picks up the child in the thickest crowd and tries to console him. He offers him the things which he wanted earlier, but now the child wants only his mother and father. So these are some important points or main points of the story. By recalling all these points, you will be able to recall the whole chapter. Okay? So try to recall these points. Then, dear children, we will do the activity which mainly based on MCQs. So, are you ready for the activity? Let's see. Okay, let's start. So, the instruction is for each question, select the correct alternative form 4 given alternatives to answer the question. So there are 4 options in each question, and one option is correct, as you know, and you have to find out the correct answer. Okay, so let's start. Question number 1. What did the child say when the man asked him, "Whose baby are you?" Option A, I want my mother, I have no idea. Option C, I want my father, I want my mother. And option D, nothing, not nothing, it's nothing. So which option is correct? Who can answer? Vasudev Nodal High School. Which is the correct answer? Yes, try to answer. Switch on your microphone. It is not audible. सुना जाओ नहीं. Yes, repeat the answer again.
Option C. Option C.
Yes, right. Okay. Option C is the correct answer.
C.
I want my father. Yes. I want my father. I want my mother. So when the man took the child from the crowd, he asked the child, "Whose baby you are?" So the child answered, "I want my father, I want my mother." C is the correct answer. Okay. Come to the second one. What did the man want to know from the child? Option A says about his parents, B about his favorite sweets, C about the things he wants to purchase, and D none of these. Which is the correct one?
Option A.
Option A about his parents. Very good. It's option A. When the man took the child, he asked, "Whose baby you are?" That means, who are your parents? He wanted to know about his parents. सेटा बापा मान को विषय जानवा पे चाहूला. Very nice. Come to question number 3. How did the man try to soothe the lost child? Option A, by singing a song. B, by giving him a toy. C, by taking him to the roundabout. And D, none of these. Which is the correct one? Who can answer? Hiramitrapur High School, yes, answer.
None of these.
None of these. Are you sure? Answer ठीक अच्छी?
Yes.
None of these. Okay. Anyone? Okay, किसी कोई बा? How did the man try to soothe the child? How did the man try to console the child? Any other school? Gurgaon Government High School? Purnapani High School?
Option C.
Option C, by taking him to the roundabout. Very good. It's option C. First of all, the man take him to the roundabout to soothe the child. चुप करेगा पे सिर्फ roundabout पाखो को नहीं जाइथिले. Okay. Let's see the question number 4. When the man asked the child to listen the music, sweet music of the flute played by the snake charmer, what did the boy do? Option A, he ran away. Option B, he got scared. Option C, he shot his ears with his fingers. And option D, he also played music. Which is the correct answer? Yes? Government High School, Gurundia? Government High School, Gurundia, which is the correct answer? Any other school? Repeat the answer. Out there, Prabha.
Option C.
Option C, he shot his ears with his fingers. Very good. It's option C, he shot his ears with his fingers. Very nice. Okay. Come to question number 5. Why did the lost child shot his ears with his fingers? Option A, he was not interested in listening to the flute. of the snake charmer? Option B, he was hungry. Option C, he was serving for balloons. And option D, he feared snakes. Which is the correct one? Government High School Gudiali? Gudiali. Government High School Gudiali? Option?
Option D. Option D. D.
Option D. D, is it D? He feared snakes? Or which one? Option D?
Option A.
Option A. He was not interested in listening to the flute of the snake charmer. Yes, option A is the correct one. He was not interested to listen the flute of music of the flute played by the snake charmer as he was get separated from his parents. Se jehetu ta bapa maan kotu ebe durei jaichi, hodi jaichi, so he didn't give any interest to listen the flute music of the flute. Okay, then come to sixth one. Why did the man take the lost child near the balloons? Why did the man take the lost child near the balloons? Option A. The child wanted to purchase balloon. Option B. He thought the bright colors of the balloons might distract the child. Option C. The child persuaded him to buy him balloons. And option D. The child was fascinated with the colorful balloons. Which is the correct one?
Option B.
Option B. Yes, he thought the bright colors of the balloons might distract the child's mind, right? So he took him to the balloon seller. Balloon different color of balloon whether the mind को परिवर्तन करवा चार अभी के balloon seller पाखो को छुआटी को लेके जाइए. Okay. So question number 7. What was the color of the balloon offered by the man to the child? What was the color? It's yellow, purple, green, rainbow. Yes, very good. It's rainbow. Rainbow color. Yes, option D, rainbow. Question number 8. Listen to that nice music, child. Who shared this? Options are his father, snake charmer, the man, his mother. Which is the correct one? Yes, Lepripada?
The man. Option C.
The man. Yes, very good. It's option C, the man. Good. Come to question number 9. The child turned his dish away from the basket. Okay. Options are nose, face, eyes, ears. Which is the correct option? Remember, away from the basket.
Option A. Nose.
Option A, nose. Very good. He turned his nose at the basket. Okay, at the flower seller. Okay, can you answer at which point he turned his face? Which point the child turned his face? Who can answer? Yes? It's at sweet shop, right? Okay. And at which point he turned his eyes? You have to remember. At what point he turned his eyes? At the balloon seller, right? Okay. And ears? At which point he turned his ears? At the snake charmer. Okay. Okay. Come to next question. Would you like a garland to put round your neck? Who shared this? Who shared this? Options are the man at the fair, Child's mother, child's father, the flower seller. It is the man at the fair, right? Question number 11. Where did the man take the boy to? The sweet shop, to the snake charmer, to the flower shop, all the above. The answer must be all the above. The man took the child to different places. Okay. Question number 12. Why did the child lose interest in the things that he wanted earlier? Options are lack of interest, he was tired now, because of separation from his parents, none of these. So the answer must be because of separation from his parents. ଯେତେବେଳେ ଛୁଆଟି ତା ବାପା ମାଙ୍କଠୁ ଦୂରେଇ ଯାଇଛି, he didn't give any attention, any interest towards anything. Question number 13. How many characters are there in the story? It is option B, 4. Mainly there are 4 characters. The most important character is the lost child. Second one is the man who had the child, and third and fourth is his mother and father, parents. So there are mainly 4 characters in the story. Then let's see question number 14. What was the theme of the story? Villagers are happy, fair gives happiness, close bonding between parents and children, all of these. Which is the correct one? The theme of the story is? It's option C, okay? C, but the option is close bonding between parents and children. Story re bapa ma au chuara sampark bishare, parents au chuara sampark bishare mukhyata kuha jaichi. Okay. Question number 15. What impression do you have on the man who had the child? Whether the man is tyrant, cruel, kind, rude. Which is the correct one? The man must be a very kind person, very generous or very loving person. So the man is a kind person. Option C is the correct one. Then question number 16. The story is about dash. The story is about dash, sweet, village people, the psychology of a child, none of this. And the answer must be yes, option C, the psychology of the child. Psychology मानसिक अवस्था छुआर मानसिक अवस्था विषय रे एठी वर्णना करा जायछि. So dear children, with this we complete the part 4 of the story The Lost Child, but still we feel that the story is not completed, right? We didn't know whether the child get his parents or not. So why the author Mulkraj Anand written such an incomplete story? What is the author's message? Why he writes such a story where we didn't get any conclusion? So what was the author? The author Mulkraj Anand want to convey a message, and the message is, the story conveys the message that children love their parents unconditionally and their real happiness lies in being with the parents. So specially or mainly Mulkraj Anand, the author, wanted to convey that as parents love their children unconditionally, like the children also love their parents very much, very unconditionally, okay? And parents are more important than any materialistic thing. Parents आम बापा माँ आम टू जेकोसी जिनिस भी आम पाखे था ना कहीं, if we do not have our parents, then there is nothing. Parents are so important. Parents are most important in our life, right? So the author want to convey this message. So with this we have completed all the 4 parts of the story, and as I have already told you that you will definitely find 5 marks from this chapter, and especially you will find only MCQs. So try to practice more and more MCQs, and all the very best for your upcoming examination. And with this, thank you so much.